Tiny pink fingers, wiggly toes, drapes of soft pinks and blues. These are the pinnacle signs of being a mom. Motherhood can be one of the most rewarding and the most difficult of challenges a woman may face. But what you may not be aware of is that most of the challenges a woman faces comes from the norms society places on us. Today I would like to share with you a few of the constraints mothers face by society. Specifically, the media's obsession with the image of the perfect mom compared to the delinquent bad mom, as well as take a look at the competition between the new age of fatherhood. Motherhood has moved from being a woman's sole purpose to an assumption, to a duty to produce heirs, and finally to a decision for the woman herself. However, society, and especially the media, doesn't always see it that way. According to Susan Douglas and Meredith W. Michaels, they're authors of the Mommy Myth, mothers are expected to follow what is known as the new momism, the insistence that women remain the best primary caretakers of their children, and that to be a remotely decent mother, a woman has to devote her entire physical, psychological, and emotional, intellectual being 24/7 to her children. Now I know what you're thinking, this is crazy. No mom can possibly live up to that standard. It's unrealistic. And yet, we idolize the mother figures of June Cleaver and I Love Lucy. They're the pinnacle of motherhood. They stand out. They make mothers feel as if, basically, that their grade of motherhood isn't as what it should be. They feel inferior and inadequate. And to top it all off, if that weren't bad enough, mothers are paraded with the image of bad moms. I'm sure all of you are familiar with the ever-popular TV series of Toddlers and Tiaras. I know, it speaks for itself. What these women do to their children is crazy. It's frightening what they do. Every time I watch the show, I think, did these women not realize what they're doing to their children? They are basically destroying any chance their child has at being a normal and especially decent human being. One of my favorite episodes is where the mom comes in and she says, I'm going to be doing some exercising. She then puts on a pair of heels and does pole dancing in her living room. I'm sorry, but one, why does she have a pole in her living room? And two, that's not exercise. And three, that's not appropriate for your child to be seeing you doing. I don't want to see my parents doing that. The media is constantly showing the moms of the day what they are supposed to be doing and what they are absolutely not supposed to be doing. According to Douglas and Michaels, over 800 books on motherhood were published in 1970 and 2000. Only 27 of those books came out in 1970 and 1980. So that means in the last 20 years, over 200 books have come out. It's ridiculous. There's no need for that. Last I checked, parenting was the parents' job, not the media's. That's one of the reasons I'm not surprised by a poll done by Modern Mom recently. 81% of mothers said it was harder to be a mom today than it was 20 or 30 years ago. As well, 56% said moms today were doing a worse job now, than they were back then. There's no reason for this. Mothers should not be forced to live up to the media's standard of perfection. It's a probable assumption that most of the moms who took this poll were perfectly decent moms. They took their kids to soccer practice, they helped them with school homework, and packed them school lunches. But because of the standard that the media has set, motherhood has gone from here to way up here, and they feel inadequate and inferior. To top it all off, if competing with the media wasn't bad enough, mothers today are now suffering from the new age of fatherhood. It used to be, as Ivana Brown put it, who has a PhD in sociology and wrote tons of books on parenting, mothers are the main caregivers of their children, and fathers are more or less absent, appearing at a time of birth, and then having a role in the background in financially supporting the family and helping mothers with certain tasks and responsibilities. However, today, many dads aren't like that. They're changing diapers and packing school lunches. One of my favorite commercials is the Go-Gurt commercial where the kid comes out and he has placed sticky notes all around the house to remind his dad to make sure he puts that Go-Gurt in his lunch. While these ideas and images have really helped dads develop really strong relationships with kids, it has really raised the bar for moms. They are no longer they can't just put the Go-Gurt in the lunch. They have to make sausages into octopuses and rabbits out of apples. I mean, They have to be the Martha Stewart of motherhood. One of my favorite quotes by Susan Douglas is, "A dad who knows the name of his kid's pediatrician and reads them stories at night is still regarded as a saint. A mother who doesn't is a sinner." Basically, the mom who doesn't do anything and everything for their child is considered a failure, but the dad who does a little more than hold the diaper bag is a pinnacle of perfection. Now, I know what you're all thinking. It's a bit of an exaggeration, and it is. But what I hope you all take from this is that not all moms are perfect. That they're going to continue, sorry to disappoint you, but they are going to continue to annoy you for the rest of your life. Exhibit A, that is me. When I was 2. That's my Halloween costume that my mom put me in. They're going to put you through hell every day. But before you blow up in their face over something that's probably not as big as you think it is, take a deep breath and realize all the pressure they're under, and give them a break. Because after all, not every mom can be June Cleaver or I Love Lucy. Thank you.
Well, I thought the beginning of the speech in terms of content and structure was fine. You had a clear thesis statement. It's a little broad. You've got a preview of what the supporting points are going to be. Your attention device is going to work pretty well. I do think, however, that the biggest problems that I had with the way you delivered the speech was in the opening of the speech. It really feels like you're rushing through that opening. Sometimes you're not articulating the sounds as clearly as you could. I think after about a minute or two of the speech, you settle down a little bit and everything is delivered a little bit less frenetically, a little bit clearer, and you're talking to us instead of rushing through the speech. And everything got better after that. But that opening, when you watch the tape back or the video back, there's no tape here. When you watch the video back, see if you don't notice what I'm talking about the opening of the speech.
I just get really nervous when I first start.
Yeah, the anxiety thing is all pouring out of you in the first 30 seconds, and it's like, and then you settle down a little bit and you calm down. So maybe that one way to compensate, for instance, would be to plan an introduction where a frantic style would be more appropriate, and then allow yourself to calm down as the speech goes on. That's a good way of integrating your anxiety into the speech and not drawing more attention to it. Most of the visual factors seem pretty good. The gestures were fine as far as they went, and your facial expressions, they seem to be distributed pretty well. You relaxed more as you went along, same sort of thing like with the voice also. You usually are looking at the audience. Only occasionally you have to look down at your notes to check something. So I didn't see that it was a big problem. Like I said, it's pacing and your voice that I think were the biggest issues in the presentation. All right. Thank you.